Yeah, for some reason I was having technical difficulties. So I think I'm all set now. So I prepared some so I prepared this um, stained wood. It's actually painted with a black stain, and then I actually lacquered it. Again, the lacquer is for now it's an aesthetic, but more importantly, it's actually to bind onto the um, stain, so that could help with emailing and engraving. In doing so, sometimes plywood has this you get the fizzies or the frizzies, and this sort of like stringy material that binds up and twirls after you start milling it. And so this is a good way to prevent that. Normally, you can also try to prevent that with a brand new end mill or a brand new bit, um, and try to mitigate those little frizzies here. These are the frizzies that I'm talking about, these little guys. But yeah, so I'm going to prepare a bigger board, and I'm going to set that up, flip it up, and then let's get engraving. So these are my boards. These are actual. These are actually my 3D printed parts that I did. They're actually for clamping. So they have like this shell-like shape. So when I tighten it, it actually moves the part against the side of the mounts, like that. You've probably seen it before. This is just my. I try to Then I design it in such a way where it's actually shorter than the substrate, and also it's, if I were to have a larger board, let's say 30 by 30, you can't have, if I move this all the way to the end, if this would have a lever, then you can't turn it all the way to the end. You would have to have some sort of way to tune it. So because this is a hex, I'm using you've probably seen it in my other videos, I'm using this ratchet to tighten this up, and then this will tighten it and push this up against my brackets here. It's a little cool thing that I made, again, just to minimize space and make use of my space. So I have this one, and I'm gonna put another board here. I had to cut these into 2 pieces because I didn't have the stock that I had was actually just one long piece, and I just cut it in half. Just cut it in half. There you go. So now, I can probably just only use 2 of these mounts. So let's push it against. So I normally start by, there's a flat surface here. That's the surface where I normally push all the way up against the substrate or the materials, and I'll tighten it up using the bolt here. And this bolt is just really just to hold it down. I'll tie it down, and then it has to be pretty snug because I don't want this to move while I tighten up this sort of hex thing. And it doesn't take long for it to get going. So then I'll set this to tighten. See, again, if I had one of those ones where it was a lever type of bracket, it wouldn't work because even just using my ratchet, it's already here against my frame here. So again, these come in handy. So I'll evenly tighten it. You can already see it slowly moving. And then I'll just normally I'll tug at it. Oh, that's not good. We certainly don't want it to move side by side, but up and down, I don't see a big problem. And just because we're just engraving letters, this is okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see if I run into issues. From what I'm aware of, it's not moving stuff from side to side or up and down. And it does lift a little bit, which it's gonna be okay, because since we're just engraving, we're not actually tearing out a lot of materials for the substrate or the plywood to lift up, which is fine. I never really ever had that issue, but if we do, I do apologize in advance. But from what I know, this should be okay. Yeah, see, it's not going anywhere. All right, so that's done. So let's see. So I have a little chat here. All right. Yeah. So anybody, I'm looking to see in my computer to see if there's anybody who subscribed already, or someone who is a subscriber. Yeah, if you don't mind, would put down your name, and I'll just start engraving your name. Again, this. And so really to start off, I really want to show my appreciation to all my subscribers that I really wanted to do this much sooner, but I just never really got the time to do it. And so I really want to thank you all, and especially everyone for tuning in. Again, thank you. And if you haven't subscribed already, definitely subscribe. It would only help this channel grow. Um, if you're just tuning in, if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And then really, again, to do so, if you subscribe, you get put in next in line to have your name subscribed. I mean, engraved. Again, so I'm using birch plywood, and I have stained the top with black gel stain, and then I've lacquered both of these boards to help with the sheen aesthetically, but also more importantly is to have this lacquer bond onto the stain. So when I engrave, it doesn't lift up any frizzies or um, so I have a clean cut essentially. So let's just start engraving. So let's check something just so everyone can see. Oh. All right, so Stephen, let's set this up. So I'm just going in my software here. Steven. All right, let's try this out. Oh, so this is the Shipoko XXL. It's the Shipoko 3. It's the third unit. So it's the biggest unit that they had available. And I'm using the DeWalt router as my cutting machine. Let me see. So I'm just loading the file here now. So you should see your engraving come up now. Oh. Oh, because the foil actually it helps with EMI. I think it's this. I think it's this system that has EMI issues. So normally, I think Cut by Create they have this plugin or like this little adapter that plugs into your DeWalt 3-prong plug, and it actually should help with EMI issues. But I found just having this to enclose in the dispersion of electronic waves much better than having to do that little plug that they offer, because all electronics emit this sort of electricity, and so normally they'll have a metal cage, or they call it a Faraday cage. A Faraday cage essentially is just a shroud that covers all electronic components to help it reduce emitting electricity. And because we don't see it, we sort of again, we don't really see it. But sometimes if you put some electronics closer to an active one, they'll start acting funny, and they'll start like to function in a certain way that it's abnormal. And I've been having instances before that with this thing, it wasn't engraving exactly the way I wanted to, and so when the end mill would cut, it would cut this way, and then it wouldn't go in a certain direction where I wanted to. Again, I think that was because of an EMI issue, and ever since I've had the foil on, it's been actually engraving exactly the way I wanted to. Sometimes if I didn't have it on, again, it will engrave very deep or too deep that it wouldn't even recognize the actual code that was originally set on the inputted from the system. So yeah, it was a very complicated thing that I've had to deal with, and I contacted the engineers at Cut by Create, but they seem to really disregard it. And they kept on saying it was something else. It was maybe the system, the software, the firmware, or even the motherboard. But from my experience, I know it's not that. And I knew it to be an EMI issue. So let me bring this a little closer to you guys, so you guys can actually see the engraving. Can I zoom in? Oh yeah, I can zoom in. Great. Oh, thanks. I just saw your response. Yeah, I love the Zen boards. I have a couple here that I made. yeah, I just fell in love with it, and I love the Japanese, theme. Yeah, EMI is a big issue for some CNCs. I mean, they don't talk about it a lot, but when you run into an issue, it seems it could be again a wiring issue or some sort of cable issue, or it could be a firmware issue. But like for me, it was just it was again an EMI. Oh, it seems like it's done. All right, there you go. First one, Steven. Yeah. Oh, my camera actually doesn't focus. So, yeah, I mean, you don't have to resort to the foil. I just did it. I just did the foil just because it was a quick fix. And I know working at my design job, we have again a Faraday cage within our medical instruments that helps with disbursement of electronics, energy, or static energy, they call it. So, yeah, it looks pretty good. Yeah. Let me try to now brush it off. So I have this little brush that I really like. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, good. Yeah, no frizzies. Right. And with the finished surface, it actually helps with just like clean up the surface much easier. It doesn't really get stuck into the plywood fibers as much. Yeah, but that's good. Yeah, I think it looks great. I think it might be my camera that's probably a little smudged there. Let's see if I can clean it up. Is that a little better? No, probably not. All right, let's move on. So let's do another name. Dear, would you like your name engraved too? Let me start that. Let's see how it does. Yeah, with Carbide Create, it has its own I guess algorithm how it works. It's again it's a free software. I would highly recommend it if you have a Shipoko to start off. I mean it's very beginner level software, so anybody can just get in tune with it right away. So to that degree, it's like very good. And if you want to start doing more complex stuff, I would recommend Fusion 360. But like to get by, Carbide Create does have enough features in there to get you going with 2D artworks and 2D engravings. So the path that I'm using here is actually a V-carve engraving, or V-carve path, and that depth is set to the artwork depth. So let's say, for example, the width of that line of that engraving there, that artwork is set to that width, and depending on the width of the end mill, that's sort of calculated together. And so again, the width of the letter is the depth set by the software. So you can't really change the depth, but a workaround is to do it manually. For example, if the line or the engraving wasn't dark enough or deep enough, you can adjust it down manually. You can do it that way. Oh, looks like it's done. All right. But I wouldn't. Sometimes, if you're testing, a good way to test is for V-carve is to test the depth. Sometimes Carbide Create is a little wonky. Sometimes it'll do what you want it to do, but sometimes it'll just like do its own thing. So yeah, always test scraps ahead of time, and then when you're ready, yeah, put your actual stock in, and then start engraving. That's sort of like what I've been doing. And also sometimes I would have my stock and then a piece of scrap right on top of it, so then I don't lose any downtime. I can test up here and then engrave right after. Once I have my settings all set and ready to go. So this one actually looks really good too. Awesome. So again, I'm only using the free Carbide Create version. There actually is a pro version, which I don't really see myself purchasing in the future. I don't find it necessary, because if I want to do more intricate engravings, I would just use the Fusion 360, because that's actually free as well, and they offer a whole bunch of features in there too. And so a lot of my videos that I've done, I've been using Fusion 360 instead of Carbide Create, just because I can have more control over my the tool and the tool paths. So that's why I do it that way. But just for today, I'm only using Carbide Create because I can pump engravings much faster in this fashion. Just waiting for more people to chime in to then I can start engraving more names. Just waiting for more people to chime in to then I can start engraving more names. So for the end mills, I normally for the end mills, I normally just get my own brand. I wouldn't buy the ones from Shapeoko, or Carbide Create, because the end mills are kind of expensive. And a good brand is Whiteside end mills. Though I've been really getting a long life with those end mills. And they've been really good to me. So a lot of my bits are Whiteside end mills. So I have a V bit. Actually, all my V bits are from Whiteside, and you can just get them online on Amazon. So my and all my V bits, my what is it? My quarter inch. I have a downcut bits that are all Whiteside as well. I've investigated before with was it Tools Today, and they also offer like a bunch of end mills, but a lot of it is you have to really investigate which ones works for you, because sometimes you'll see reviews that they'll break, or some reviews they'll be really good, and then you sort of like get inspired and and want to invest in them. But you just have to really see which one actually really works for you, because sometimes some do, some don't. I know there's one company, I forget what it's called. Let me go look it up. Amana. Some of the Amana end mills, they're not that great, because I've used a handful of them. Actually, I do have one or two of them that I still have that's still really good. But some of those end mills that they offer, they break quite a lot. And one word of advice, I do have this one very small fine end mill that I really swear by. It's called. I'll show you. I've got the box. Actually, this one. Do I even have? Do I have his name? Yes, I even have his name. It's actually from eBay. It's an eBay end mill. So it's this one right here. It's actually, if I can focus, it's called Drobits Unlimited 132 downcut end mill. And I've looked forever to find this end mill that would like not break. And this brand, I bought, let's say 6 or 7. I've only broken two, and one of which is because user error, and the other one it actually really broke. And I've tried Amana brands, I've tried Whiteside brands. I don't think Whiteside has a small end mill like this. 132 is very, very tiny. It's super tiny for engraving. But like this act is the company's called Drill Bits Unlimited. It's on eBay. But yeah, I've never found anyone that's as strong as this guy. I've even invested in Datron end mills, and this one held up much better than the Datron end mill. And I was quite surprised by how Datron is, again, an industrial manufacturer for CNC tooling, and this brand actually outdid that one. And it's super strong. I've had occasions where this thing would actually dive all the way down without milling, and it didn't break. And I had that done a couple times just by mistake, and that was hardwood, and it actually never broke, and it just went right through the wood. So so for this end mill, I normally cut softwoods. So every time I need it, it always gets the job done. So this brand here is actually okay. So the one I was showing you, the little 132nd end mill, that's actually Drill Bits Unlimited. So it's actually here, Drill Bits Unlimited, 132nd downcut end mill. Hashtag not sponsored. Um, but yeah, I swear by this. I never went anywhere else. Um, Again, I bought a pack of four. Only one failed, and that's it failed because again that was probably a defective item. But all the ones that I've had up to date, they never broke. They just been worn. Oh yeah. So rule of thumb, if you're gonna, for some reason my YouTube chat isn't updating on my camera here, but yeah, rule of thumb. I like to watch old OGs or the old guys where they come from, from the 40s or 50s. They have like a way of like looking at approaching milling and cutting, and so I really get inspired by those old guys online. So they have really good tips and tricks. One good one is you'll never want to cut the depth deeper than the width of the end mill. So let's say this is 132nd. I wouldn't go down further than the width of that 132nd tip. Again, with a quarter-inch bit, I would never go deeper than a quarter-inch width of that, because you risk again, you risk, like what you said, you risk snapping the bit. And if you just follow that and have your feeds and speeds set perfectly, if you're getting burning, you're actually going too slow, or you set your RPM too high. But if you just set it at the correct depth, it will cut smooth. You just need to cut it. You just need to set your feed rate much faster, so then it won't start burning. Occasionally, I'll get that really just to set up my stock. So I'll do a dry run, and then I'll test some more, and then once I get it correctly set and fine tune, and then you can just go right for it. yeah, let me see. So Sage. Let's use this font. Okay, Sage. Okay, let's preview it, make sure it's right. Okay. Gunk in there. Perfect. Sweet. I guess I'm open to names or even phrases at this point because people are just rushing to come in. So that looks great. Sweet. All right. Oh yeah, as I was saying, the White Side brand is a good brand. I would highly recommend in mills from them. I've gone if you yeah if you don't with V bits I've been kind of been crushing the bit, the tip of the bit actually, but I still have my V bits up to now. I think they're a good investment. I would highly recommend that brand, and you get a lot of life out of those end mills as well. Oh yeah, yeah it does. It does look like a music note, huh? I've never done anything live like this before. If you guys have any suggestions for our next broadcast, put down in the chat what you guys would recommend. What you and also what you'd like to see me do next time. So let's try engraving my name using this font. Okay. Okay, let's see how it looks. hey, if you're just tuning in, subscribe. You get your name engraved. That looks pretty good. Oh, there's a little chipping there. And so that chipping is normally the way the fibers are, I guess, of the wood is actually how they're grown. Sometimes you will get those chippings there on occasion with plywood. But there's really no way around it. Sometimes it could be the end mill that got caught on that fiber that torn a little bit too much. But again, it could be a number of things. But this actually came out pretty good. So as I mentioned earlier, I was because I wasn't too sure how my clamps were gonna hold this down because I was afraid it might lift. But because I'm using a small enough end mill, it wasn't gonna grab it and pull it out. And so that's why you see my bit going in and around and going a few rounds on that one path. Again, that's just to consider the life of the tool, and also, for example, if I didn't have my board here bolted down well enough, the end mill, if I went too deep on one path and didn't consider doing multiple passes, the end mill could move the substrate around, and you'll have to start up right over again. And so doing multiple passes is good, and it's just to again really help you get a nice clean cut and won't move your board around, just in case you go too deep. I also found out once you program your CNC a certain way, anything else after that is honestly 90% of the time a user error. If something happens to your bits, your machine, or somehow in some way, if your engravings are wrong, they go too deep, or they do some quirky stuff, again, 90% of the time it's usually a user error. So you always want to double check everything to really dial in your settings. All right, let's keep going here. Let me adjust camera. So let's do only if they told me who's still online, because I don't have. It says I have 3 watching, but it doesn't say who is still online. So I appreciate whoever's still on this stream. So I mean, if you have anybody in the chat, if you have any suggestions what I should engrave next, I don't mind setting that up for you. So let's try something else. So let me try to engrave another. I always say this. So let me engrave my phrase, my catchphrase. I always say this all the time. I should probably even get this printed too. All right. Okay, okay, okay. It's pretty good. I don't know what happened there. Must be a settings. I didn't. I must have read that that overlap there wasn't was actually outlining instead of like making its own two path. So that's something I have to go back and check. For what it is, it's not bad. Okay, that looks good. I'm just waiting for a few more people. And see how this goes. If you're just tuning in, if you want to let me know in the chat. See if you want or what you want me to engrave, and I can get that set up. Okay, I'm gonna set up another file and start engraving. So with 12x3, I don't really have a choice to like put where my engraving starts. It chooses that for me. I wish it was a little more intuitive to set that point where it starts instead of having to do too much to the file to do that. So what I did was I just set the text, and then I just set my tool, and then I just hit to start. And oddly enough, it's starting at the end, not starting from the beginning.
looks good. See, I'm getting really fine engravings. That lacquer is actually really doing its job. Clean. Let's see, there's still some dust stuck in the engravings here. But overall, good. So with that, thank you all who joined me in on this live broadcasting. If you tuned in after this live broadcasting, who's just watching the video, I do appreciate you stopping in. There are more live broadcastings that I do want to do more in the future. And if you can give me a like, subscribe if you haven't already, that'd be really helpful. And again, it will only help my channel grow. And I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.